Hello and welcome back, everyone. Hagbard here with another, well, incomprehensible internet feminist, this time from all the way across the globe in Aussie land. Basically, she prattles on towing company lines, however, she contradicts herself a few times in interesting and amusing ways. Oh, and somehow her camera's focus, anti-shake feature, I'm really not sure what is making this happen, but it is vomit-inducing. Really, you gotta try and keep your eyes on her, or the vertigo might kill you.
Hi, Internet. So I just got this email from somebody that I don't know. I sent to my private email and to like a group work email.
Oh, oh God, I looked away. Oh God, don't try and track anything in the background.
Basically outlining that they had made a video response
Like like this one, love.
or like annotation to one of the posts that I'd made on feminism and what feminism means to me, and basically saying like looking forward to your responses to some of the questions that they'd posed. I got about 5 minutes in and I had to turn the video off because it was just like
Like, really, making too many obviously valid points, my narrative ignored.
really tedious and tiring and a little bit overwhelming
Ah, and feminists don't like hard work.
because it's filled with the same sort of rhetoric that we hear, or I feel like I hear all the time about feminism and why feminist issues aren't important, and that, they're being, it's coming from a privileged position and all of those things. And while I acknowledge like some of the things that I talk about are not
Oh, come on, what is it with you people and muttering?
relevant to people across the globe, they're definitely relevant in terms of feminism and gender equality in the context in which I experience them. Um, I guess this video is essentially aimed at saying or addressing a couple of the questions that this person posed.
Not many, since you admitted to having not watched the video.
As I said, I only listened to about 5 minutes of it because it was so difficult to stomach. So in this video, I outlined that at the time that I made the video, there was only, one female representative in the federal ministry for the Abbott government. Now there are two.
Yeah, women vote too. Next.
And essentially this person's gone and said that, well, there were said number of candidates, about a third or less of them were women. Like, it's not about women being misrepresented because of gender inequality or because of issues that pertain to feminism, but because of personal choice. And 50% of the population vote, and so women are also voting for men rather than female candidates.
Sounds reasonable. Next.
And like, this is just an example of some of the silly things that this person has outlined, because it's about systemic oppression and it's about systemic things that are
Systemic things that are in place. Well, I'm convinced of your expertise. Go on.
in place that mean that women are socially conditioned in the same way that men are socially conditioned to favor men over women.
Ow, ow, I could be trained like a dog. Ow, ow. I'll train you like. Oh, yeah, I forgot, because feminists think women have no agency or minds of their own. Check.
So the fact that there are less women candidates is not because women choose per se to not partake in the process, but because the systems in place don't have the space for women to partake in the process.
Obviously, hence the no girls allowed signs on all the government buildings.
Or there are the system is constructed in a way that it's not conducive to women participating to the same rate as men participating, and there is less access for women.
Wait, how's that?
So you say things like it's personal choice and babies, but mostly personal choice. Like, you'll find that the latest statistics from the ABS, the Australian Bureau of Statistics, found that 85% of men in a coupled relationship had full-time employment,
Oh, disgusting! How dare they? The nerve.
whereas only, what was it, 16% of women had full-time employment when they had young dependent children aged 0 to 4.
I don't see the problem here. They prefer to raise their children directly. I mean, what do you prefer kids that are state raised? I mean, really?
Which only rose to 44% when the children were 15 years or younger.
Okay, still 15 or younger, as in still raising your children, no problem so far.
compared to 85%.
Wait, that's it? That's all you're bringing to the table? Overall employment stats of one whole sex compared to a step-by-step breakdown related to choices by another? Fantastic use of logic and fairness, love.
That's because of traditional gender roles and social conditioning that reinforces traditional gender roles. That means that women are the primary, for the overwhelming part, the primary caregivers of children.
Luckily, feminism can help by turning all men into fucking seahorses, you crazy person. There are biological reasons for this behavior.
In addition to that, those statistics are in relation to full-time employment. In addition, only 13% of employers had flexible workplace agreements in plan. Workplace flexibility directly impacts people who are primary caregivers of children because they need to have flexible time to take care of children, to pick them up from school, to take them to school, to have leave and capacity to look after their children when their children fall sick.
So only 13% of employers will let a woman come and go as she pleases based on her sex. Go on.
You talk about things like me misconstruing data or things, about being choice and about being certain things, but really it's like, honestly,
Yeah, surely you're laughing because you realize everything you've said so far is in direct support of what was said against you and is against what you were about to say.
I don't even have it in myself to address half the things that you've spoken about
Shocking, really.
because it's about systemic oppression. And just because women are also voting or articulating themselves in the same way doesn't actually mean that that theory is void or null.
It does, as you yourself provided evidence for earlier.
It means that women have been socially conditioned in the same way to promote gender inequality. Like it's
Socially conditioned biological imperatives. News to me.
just, it's baffling and it's tiring and like,
Oh. Oh, look at the pain. Look at the absolute discomfort that internalizing this bullshit causes. Now, the only way that she can feel normal again is by making others feel as guilty as her. Like a guilt-mined drug addict fighting off her Jones. Like a dry drunk walking past a bar, judging all those within to be lesser, unworthy, and unclean.
like the fact that someone can turn around and say that some of the things that I've said come from a privileged position, which I acknowledge they do. I live in Australia. I grew up in a pseudo or semi-middle class family, or like, whatever, like not lower class. I don't know. Doesn't mean that those issues aren't relevant or important in the Australian context or even across the world, and doesn't mean that there aren't other forms of privilege that outweigh or counteract levels of privilege that are in place when I'm talking about certain issues.
I'm like only a little privileged, and you're a shitlord.
It's about perspective, and coming from a place of male privilege, it's very difficult, or like very interesting to see how people experiencing certain levels of male privilege and other types of privilege turn around and say to women, feminism is not an issue and you need to get some perspective. Like, it's exhausting. I don't even.
Let me just answer your pitiful condemnation in kind. It's about perspective, love. And coming from the perspective of a gynocentric, female protectionary culture, I can see that it's very difficult. Oh, wait, interesting to see how whiny, self-important bitches like you exhibiting certain types of gynocentrism turn around and condescend to men who have predominantly fought and died to protect you, strive to provide for you, and, we live up to the demands, and we coddle and earn your affections as validation. Feminism, in the West, is a non-issue, you pretentious, power-hungry feminazi, with no intellectually viable points to make. I say good day, madame. A good day.